Time to hand out some bronze at the 2023 IIJL World Juniors in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan at SaskTel Center. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you this evening. Final day of play, and for the bronze medal game, we've got Israel taking on Scotland. A battle of two offenses, and Nolan Eastwood on the Scottish side, and Jackson Baker and Israel, where I think we're getting a show in this one.
The round-robin game between these two teams was probably the game of the tournament so far. We're expecting nothing less than that. And for whoever can win, it'll be a first-time World's medal. So it's going to be pretty exciting for whichever team can pull it off. Expect it to be hard-fought.
Always a special moment. We saw that with Australia earlier in the 5th and 6th place game. But let's go between the benches now. Ryan Flaherty is standing by.
Well, as Stamper just mentioned, it is going to be some history made here this evening at SaskTel Center. Neither of these teams have won a medal before at the IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. One of them will be changing that in a couple of hours' time. For Scotland, what impact that would have for them. Of course, they're in their very first appearance at this event this year, and everything has been working for them in terms of their growth from the start of the week until now. And now they're just one victory away from making what would be a pretty big statement here in their debut appearance at this tournament. As for Israel, they are also hungry for that podium finish after a couple of fourth-place finishes in their last two appearances, including a loss in overtime to the United States back in 2019. They've been close to that podium, but they haven't quite got there yet. And tonight, they want to find a spot alongside our two finalists that are coming up later tonight. There'll be a great battle, a rematch of what we've thought has been the game of the tournament so far this week.
Both teams are coming off semifinal losses. Israel lost 14-7 against the USA, and Canada beat Scotland 24-11. Let's get a look at our starting goaltender now for Scotland. So you get a look at Nolan Eastwood on the bench first off, and Zach Milne as well. Ethan Dalkeith, he'll be kicking between the pipes for Scotland. You see number 50 in white there, 1 and 2 so far in the tournament. Has a 13.6 goals against average and a 738 save percentage. Stamper, what have you liked about his performance after not getting the call on day number 1?
I like the way he's bounced back because he has had some ups and downs. He's come back and looked very solid and just looked like he hasn't been flapped by what's going on, which is obviously a huge element for a goaltender.
When you think of Scotland, I think we know their offense can be potent at times. As I do believe Israel is going to be getting a delay of game call here, as they have yet to come out on the floor. Everything seems to be rolling around Nolan Eastwood, but he is getting some support as of late.
He is. Grady Holmes has been very good. I mean, Eastwood has 16 goals. Grady Holmes is next on the team with 8. So it's clearly the Eastwood show. He's been great at both ends of the floor, going back and playing transition defense. He's been very good, but Holmes has been contributing. Zane Fletcher has 5 goals. You've got Jack Bamford will go in and just hammer home goals. So you've got a lot of support. The Israel offense is a little more balanced. Their starting goaltender is Mark Ripberger right there.
Well, there you get a look at Mark Ripberger. He is 2-1 in the contest with a 10.8 goals against average and a 7.56 save percentage. Obviously, that got knocked down after a tough outing yesterday, but the American squad has proven they're a legit contender at this event in Saskatoon. It'll be the 2 5s at the dot. Justin Haverly and Morgan Curry will get things underway. Ref is ready, ball is down, and we are underway. It's the bronze medal game in Saskatoon.
And there was a delay of game penalty, as you suggested. Israel late getting out, so they are killing the penalty already to start off.
4v5, Hawkins Steen waits for support on the floor. Eric Tompkins is above him. Josh Fodchuk's all the way over on his right. That's who gets it now. Josh Fodchuk, awkward angle, trying to put it short side. Dalkeith holds his own. Ball ends up on the turf for a second, and it'll be Trainer McCulloch who scoops it up.
McCulloch seems to come up with a ton of loose balls for Scotland.
They call it a 10-second.
Well,
they had possession, and then they were stripped of the ball. So that's a good back check there by Israel to really slow him down. But now back in his own zone, it'll be Fuster to run it up, as Nolan Eastwood walks it over the Rush logo. Grady Holmes at the restraining line. Holmes, 8 goals, 6 assists so far in the tournament. Fletcher for Bamford. Back to Eastwood in the middle, and he scores. Make no mistake about it. Nolan Eastwood's here to ball out. He's got 17 on the week.
And he has just been dynamite throughout. You can see how ready he is to get this shot off. The quick release, catches it up around the ear. You know he knows where he wants to go. He immediately gets it down to sidearm to take advantage of a little space over on the far post. And he is looking fired up.
Well, he had a little extra gas in the tank after yesterday's loss against Canada. He was not ready to be done playing lacrosse anytime soon. Eastwood gets Scotland on the board first. It's 1-0. Grady Holmes now for Zach Milne. He'll try and drive the middle. Ball ends up off target. Pops back, and Scotland's going to have 10 to work with. Grady Holmes through the middle, and Ripberger drops down to his knees. Bit of an awkward save, but he stops it and controls the rebound with the outlet for Jarrett Rogalski.
And another great chance for Scotland, who have been plagued by slow starts. So huge for them to get the goal and another good opportunity right away.
Hawkins Steen scans the floor. Around his defender, caught a turf monster though. Ball's on the carpet, Jackson Baker runs up on it. Down for Eric Tompkins. Tompkins, a low to low, got blocked by Mason McNeil. Scooped up on the floor by Angus Murdoch. Hawkins Steen's on the back check. Murdoch still has it, and now he tries to lob it up. Zane Fletcher's going to overrun it. It stays in play though, as Grady Holmes was waiting in the neutral zone. Little hidden ball trick right now to Eastwood and Holmes. Ripberger didn't know for a second where it was. You can see he was working the eyes, and now a push is called on Scotland, so it'll be Israel possession.
And wasn't getting much help from his teammates, so he had to figure it out himself, but he did in time.
Well, I'm not sure his teammates knew exactly where it was either. Justice Cutler now gets on his bike, cuts up the middle, and the lefty will backpedal. 4 lefties on the floor right now for Israel. Fodchuk has Burns over. Fodchuk trying to go back door, intended for Tompkins. Passes a little too tall for his body. McCarron now will hit the break and wait for some help. Comes in the form of Caleb McAndrew. A lot of Scottish lineage on this team, and the last names will tell the story. A little shot 5-0 by Fuster as Ripberger drops back on it.
Gets stuck in the side of the pad there. You usually see it up in the top. That's an odd spot, but the wheels by Rogalski we've seen all tournament.
Rogalski now 1-on-4, ends up taking it behind the X. Kick back for Fodchuk. Fodchuk up top, low kick by Dalkeith with the left pad, and that'll be his second save of the game. Fodchuk still has it. Rogalski's going to stay in play. Fodchuk a little behind the back flip, intended for Baker. Got something in front, might have got off a stick. No reset comes. Hawkins Steen trying to pull back on Hall. Doesn't to shoot. Back for Rogalski. Has Dalkeith down, and he got up in time to get the right shoulder in the way. Steen up to Fodchuk. Now they'll get a couple of fresh legs on the floor as Easton Burns cuts down the main street. Rogalski trying to go around his defender, walked himself into a double team. Steen's got the loose ball though. Does it on the shot clock. Fodchuk low to low off of Dalkeith and ends up behind the net where Trainer McCulloch is there to scoop up his second loose ball of the game already. Long outlet. That ends up going out of play. Ripberger took a stab at it. If that goes off the glass and pops back out, you could be in a real awkward spot. But now Ripberger's going to throw it over and back as Burns couldn't corral it cleanly.
Yeah, a couple of bad things happening. I mean, you go out to get that ball, you just don't need to. Because if you touch it and it goes over the glass, you also lose the ball. So bit of unnecessary, but that sometimes early game jitters.
Little adrenaline rushing. Here's Bamford. Kicks it out to Zane Fletcher. Down for Eastwood, looking for his second, and he's got it. Too easy. Nolan Eastwood double it up. It's 2-0 Scotland.
A great two-man game, and Eastwood so smooth coming across. He is moving way more quickly than you realize because he just doesn't look like it's difficult. But here he's coming across. That quick release again, drops it down underhand, and just placing it exactly where he wants it. Not a huge rip, but he's so precise. What a tournament this guy's having. 17 goals, 18 goals now. There you go.
I don't know if there's most outstanding player. likely someone on the gold medal winning team gets that. Most valuable player, that's Nolan Eastwood all tournament long.
Yeah.
He has been the MVP of the 2023 IIJL World Juniors. Here's Easton Burns. Room to shoot. That ends up getting soaked by Alfie West. He's been blocking shots all week. You can see the bruises on his legs from up here. Reedy. Solar Camille got dumped. Reedy, far side, ends up hitting the pipe. Scooped way up in the air. Burns now. Caught it, one arms it back. Tompkins in the corner. They got the shot clock reset. They can get a new look. Tompkins steps into one. Dalkeith makes the save.
Holmes back for a defensive shift, picks that one up and will head forward, but go off to the bench. And Scotland trying to push it a little bit.
Here's McCarron. Reedy's on his back. You don't want to run too close to the center line or be over and back. Still holds on to it. Reedy blew it tight. McCann drew 10 on the shot clock. Pick got set by Milne on the roll. Rittberger makes a save. Rebound was out in front for a second, but not enough time for Keegan Cochran. Ashton Reich, the captain, leader of this Israel side. Steen's got Tompkins off the bench. Now the fifth forward hops out on the floor with a dozen to go on the shot clock, and Trainer McCulloch, another turnover. Intercepts a pass cleanly from Hawkins Steen. Throws it up as Fuster had Fletcher with him. He tried to hit the break, so I think he was thinking he can get topside, and Fuster just didn't know where to put that pass.
There's a great catch by Fuster, though, with the player all over him. And then that one's going to be thrown away and a chance for Scotland to get it back.
Trainer McCulloch, how many times are we going to say he gets loose balls? What do we had? 3, 4, 3 loose balls, probably 2 cause turnovers already, and we haven't even played 7 minutes of this bronze medal game.
He's on pace for probably around 30 loose balls in the game, the way he's going.
So Kyle Rubish numbers.
Exactly.
Newly signed in San Diego.
Zach Courier numbers.
Nolan Eastwood. He'll drive, a little kickback for Fletcher, who got sat on his pants. Reach now, hauled down by Bamford. Easy call as the refs all have their hand up.
Players almost always argue, but in this case, Bamford just pivots on his heel and heads down to the box. You can see the grab, the spin, the drag down. No question about that one. Bamford, this is it. Look at that. Pivot off to the bench, and Israel will get a chance to get on the board. Scotland has been the streakiest team in this tournament. They have scored and given up multiple 5-goal runs in their trio of games.
Israel 2 for 6 on the power play yesterday. Scotland's penalty kill was 3 for 5 against Canada. Hawkins Steen zips one's back. Quick stick for Burns, and what a save. Ethan Dalkeith got over there with the left pad and kept it out. Trainer McCulloch scoops another off the carpet. Hawkins Steen's on him this time, though. Throws it behind the back. I'm not sure he knew Alfie West was there, but it landed perfectly.
Dalkeith created quite a start, and Scotland, probably more than any other team here, has a real 1A, 1B with Dalkeith and LeBlanc, but he has just stepped up and grabbed the starting job.
So Scotland's complaining because they never got a shot clock reset, and they blew it down and gave it to Israel. I'm not sure if there was other reasoning, but Jackson Baker up top on the power play got his own shot back, trying to go 5-hole. Dalkeith makes that save. Dangerous pass picked out by Hawkins Steen. Back the other way. It's just over as he had some space, glove high. This
Lovely
is going to bounce
Eastwood.
all the way back. Eastwood for the hat trick. Nolan Eastwood stopped by Rittberger.
How about that move to step around Dick Turl to get himself that breakaway?
He makes it look so easy. And he just finished his first year of juniors as well. It's the crazy thing. When you think about elite lacrosse players in the world today, Nolan Eastwood's getting on some players' radar, people's radar real quick. Josh Fonchek just over the net. Tompkins low to low scores. Israel's on the board. It's a power play marker for Eric Tompkins.
Huge for Israel to get going back, because we saw in the first game between these teams, which was fantastic, that Scotland went for some runs. Israel actually got a 5-0 on that one. They certainly didn't want to let Scotland get there. Bit of a delayed shot because it went off the boards. The pass was very low, but Tompkins does a nice job of picking it up cleanly and being ready to shoot as he spins around. Sees that little 5-hole spot, and Israel's on the board.
Only his second goal of the tournament, but Eric Tompkins, it's a big one. Cuts the lead in half with 6:22 to play. Zipped over to Zane Fletcher. Scotland looks for a response. Zach Milne up top. McAndrew. Shot goes off Rogalski and out of play. And I believe, yes, it should be Scotland ball. Zach Milne, they'll get him restarted in here. Grady Holmes trying to open up some space for McAndrew. Got his pass back, and Ripberger dives on it. Rebound was free for a second. Ball up intended for Ben Reedy. He got around Fuster, and Reedy grabs some air and scores. Oh, he's able to hold his own, and Ben Reedy has tied us up at 2.
Heck of a play by Reedy. May have actually gotten a little bit of help by this hit from Murdoch, because Dalkeith is stepping across as Reedy jumps across the crease, and you'll see the hit just kind of holds him up. And that is a bit of a break for Reedy, but he takes advantage of it well.
Still got to be able to execute it when you're getting thrown into the post. And Ben Reedy, a clutch goal right there. His third of the tournament. Back to level ground with 5:30 to play. Eric Tompkins in the neutral zone. Defended by Morgan Curry. Back for Josh Vodchuk, behind the back, got it on goal, and Dalkeith got it in the pads. Trainer McCulloch up for Bamford. Avoids a hit from Tompkins, still has it as he waits for some help. Grady Holmes down to Eastwood. Eastwood's already got 2, and he had a sock trick on night number 1 here at the World Juniors. He'll call the play, trying to get Holmes free, but Holmes was all sorts of tied up with Dick Turrell. Now it's Rogalski. Vodchuk's off the bench. Jarrett Rogalski, Josh Vodchuk, back of the net. You couldn't execute a 2-on-1 any better. Josh Vodchuk has his first of the game, and Scotland's got their first lead of the game.
Vodchuk is explosive, racing off the bench. And like I said, the play by Rogalski here, there are times you want to draw the defender, but Rogalski realizes he's got Fuster trapped right in between the two of them. He doesn't have to wait too long. He can float it up there fairly early for Vodchuk and let him have lots of time to make his approach to the net and bang it home.
Israel up 3-2 as Josh Vodchuk has his 7th of the week. Ripberger's going to pick up an assist. Here's Fuster, hits the brakes. Ball ended up on the turf for a second. Justice Cutler couldn't get to it. Ben Reedy is there as well. Eastwood now takes a hard hit from Hawkins Steep. Zach Milne. Physical plays ramping up. Here's Fletcher to the middle. Save made by Ripberger as he looks for an outlet. We'll go quickly down between the benches. Here's Ryan Flaherty.
Yeah, just something to keep an eye on defensively for Scotland here today. No J.J. Milne. He's got an injury. The captain for Scotland out of the lineup, and he's been a real stalwart for them on the back end, so they're going to have to make adjustments without him on the floor.
Hawkinstein to the middle. Back for Burns. Quick stick. Got up the side of goaltender Ethan Dalkeith. Pick got set, and the refs didn't like it, so Steen's shot won't count anyways. Back the other way, Scotland does not have numbers as Grady Holmes set a hard pick there on Bundy. Zane Fletcher now, the flag bearer for Scotland. You see him come out before every game with the flag. Matt Bundy now, he'll turn on the Jets. He can fly. But he sees 3 white jerseys in front of him and says, I'll save my energy for a couple other quarters. Eric Tompkins. Battle in front as Solar Camille's getting into it. Pass for Burns. He's pushed back and he throws a pass at the feet of Tompkins. Rebound popped out for Kush, and he's stopped by Dalkeith.
Israel swinging things around. We've again said these are streaky teams, Scotland in particular. Israel trying to continue this streak they've got going, and all kinds of pressure from Burns.
Well, it's a game of runs, and Scotland got out to a good start. Israel's been the better team over the past 8 minutes. Ben Reedy has Hawkins Steen over the SaskTel logo. Reedy, little scoop. Steen, twister, misses. Rebound. Back of the net. Easton Burns buries that one over the shoulder of Dalkeith. Israel up 4-2.
What a nice job accepting the pass down the middle to get that initial shot off. As you can see, Fodchuk with a little shovel, and it actually doesn't even turn into a shot. It turns into a direct pass. I think he was trying to get the twister shot. That was Hawkins Steen, who bounces it over towards Eastern Burns, and Dalkeith, no chances. Burns is wide open on the crease there.
Burns has 8 at the World Juniors. Haverly and Holmes will have a few words as they go off for a change. Here's Ben Reedy, laying out in front, and are they going to call it unsportsmanlike? That's going to be on Scotland. So Reedy had the ball in basically a breakaway. Or maybe they are calling it was a bench minor for unsportsmanlike conduct. And they took away a chance from Benjamin Reedy. I'm sure he's not happy about that. Nonetheless, Israel going to the power play.
Charles Glover will go and serve the 2 minutes or less.
Jackson Baker up top on the power play. 8 goals, 6 assists in the tournament coming into this game. Make it 9. Jackson Baker blows one past Dalkeith. It's 5-2.
And another 5-goal run allowed by Scotland. It's at least 4 in their games. I'd have to double check, but I was just about to and didn't actually have time, because look how quickly this power play goal comes out to Baker, who's been getting warmer as the tournament goes on, and that is just a rocket from the outside over the shoulder.
I know it's early, but if you're Scotland 5 goals on 15 shots, you're probably starting to look towards the bench where Eric LeBlanc is sitting and saying, well, we've got a goaltender as well who can play, who's got a 770 so far in the tournament.
LeBlanc with the ball cap still on, not looking like he's getting ready so far.
Benjamin Reedy, kick back for Tompkins, over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk short side, and he got cracked on the side of the head after taking that shot. Cross-check will be the call on Angus Murdoch, and you certainly can't do that 10 feet away from a ref.
Another power play opportunity for Israel. You see Murdoch top of your screen there. Again, it's not like a huge vicious attack, but it goes straight up to the head, and that's going to get called, especially in the international game.
I think just how loud it was also plays a big factor into it. Not sure why Rogalski's up top as well. Did they think it was a 5-on-3? They're going like 4-on-4 down there. That's interesting confusion on the power play.
I think the Israel coach is having a bit of a chat about that.
Trainer McCulloch will rip one down. Mason McNeil runs up on it. The double team comes from Cutler and Rogalski. Now it's on the ground. And Hawkins Steen will grab it. Nolan Eastwood has to be careful not to take a penalty. He almost caused a turnover, though. Now he will. Nolan Eastwood, a one-man band out there on the penalty kill. Took a bit of a shot from Tompkins. Held his own balance, though. 3-on-1. Nolan Eastwood for the hat trick. It got through Ripberger and just trickles wide. Fuster, Fletcher, fake BTB, and he scores. Oh, he had Ripberger in the corner. Zane Fletcher fakes out half the building, and it's 5-3.
Great team shorthanded goal effort. First by Eastwood up at the top to get the ball back. Goes in, takes the shot. The rebound by Fuster finds Fletcher. And look at that fake. He has Ripberger and everyone, as you said, heading off to the right. And he has nothing but space to bang that one in. That's a huge one to stop the 5-goal run by Israel.
6 goals, 15 points in the tournament for Zane Fletcher, and that's a big one for Scotland. You could feel how much they needed it after allowing 5 straight. Power play continues, though. Less than a minute to go here in quarter number 1. Steen Burns, quick stick, scores. Just like that, Israel responds. It's 6-3.
That gives Burns 9 goals in the tournament, and at least 5 of them, I would say, are the backdoor quick stick. He is so smooth, so sharp. That is a skill all its own, and he makes no mistake there. What a response for Israel to solidify their lead.
6 goals on 17 shots now and 3 for 3 on the power play. If you're Scotland, the adjustment's simple. Stay out of the box. Grady Holmes has the loose ball after it, and Scotland could call a timeout and go 6-on-5, but Fletcher all alone out in front, and he scores. 2 goals in 25 seconds, and Scotland back down by 2.
What a turnaround. Scotland does not give up. Fletcher is on fire, and you can see Holmes just battling through the check, runs into the double team, fights out of it to create some space for himself, and there's nobody in the frame with Fletcher. Even here, there's still nobody in the frame. That is wild to see how open he was.
Stu Sturparn cannot be too thrilled with that defense.
He is not. When he crosses his arms and has that look about him, he's not happy.
Israel won't go 6-on-5 here, although they had the opportunity to, but Benjamin Reedy whips it down for Tompkins. Tompkins scores again. It's a replay of his goal. That was the first for Israel of the game, and it's 7-4.
In the final 31 seconds, 25 seconds so far, 6 seconds left to go 5.5. 3 goals, 2 at one end, then 1 at the other, and this is just starting to be a shooting gallery.
Well, isn't that what we said in the pregame show? Expect the offenses to be electric. That they have. Here's Reese shot the draw. Rips it wide. He was looking like Justin Haverly on that play. Pop it up to yourself and get the opportunity. Nonetheless, Israel up by 3 after going down by 2 to start the quarter. They're battling back. Scotland not going anywhere. It's 7-4. 15 down, 45 to go. We're back with second quarter action next on TSN Plus. STX is the official glove provider of Canada and the Canadian Lacrosse League. Visit stx.com today. Ryan Flaherty standing by with Stu Sturparn.
All right, Coach, trading goals there in the last minute or so of that quarter. Do you like a game like that, or would you rather things get a little more settled down here?
Yeah, we're good with transition stuff, so I don't mind playing fast. We just obviously got to stay out the box. We're well unprepared to start the game, but other than that, we're ready to be in this one. So we're going to play the full thing all the way through.
What is the biggest adjustment you need to make against this Scotland team after the first time you saw them?
Again, just we have to adjust ourselves. Not too much worried about them. We have to clean up things on our end of things. So, again, at the end of the day, it's mostly our changes and our transition. I think we're starting to do that, and I think it'll bring us success.
All right, Coach, thanks for this.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks.
Guys?
Skills Canada is an education and career development partner of the Canadian Lacrosse League. Visit skillscanada.com to learn more. 7-4, Israel leads. Shots 18-12 after 15 minutes of play. Power plays across the board, perfect. Israel 3 for 3, Scotland 1 for 1. Ashton Reich, Max stepping in on the draw for Justin Haverly in quarter 2 is underway. Reach now up the floor. Tompkins has Reedy with him. 2 righties. Over to Reedy. Fakes, and it's stopped by LeBlanc.
It's a good one by LeBlanc to come in on facing a tough chance for his first of the game. And a nice pass by Tompkins. Israel making some good decisions on when they're making passes to the open men.
Well, maybe they hurt us. And 11 for 18 spells the end of Ethan Dalkeith's night so far. Nolan Eastwood now looking for the hat trick, and it's stopped by Ripberger, although that was not a comfortable save.
spun the stick a little, got it jammed between the foot and the stick, very close to finding his way through.
Justice Cutler is dumped by Alex Hall. It's free game up, and Scotland's going to recover. Alex Hall now has to battle as Tompkins knocked it out for a second. Bundy was in there as well, and Justice Cutler outlets for Burns.
Good battle by Hall there to get it for a moment, but he was just surrounded by pale blue.
Easton Burns has 2 in the game. Hawkins-Steen with the rock right now inside. Tompkins stopped by LeBlanc. Mason McNeil pushed in, and now he pulls his man to the ground. Eastwood has it, and rough stuff continues as Steen and McNeil. I think they're both going to be getting one here. It'll be coincidentals, I believe.
You can see the grab here as McNeil is going to tug Steen down. And I'm not sure what Steen's getting one for.
Being involved.
Yeah. I think Israel's a little stunned by that development.
Hawkins-Steen went in and laid the original hit, and then it was a little bit of a tie-up there where Mason McNeil hauled him. It'll be Scotland ball up top, 5-on-5 on the floor with 13:29 to go in quarter number 2.
Hawkins-Steen 2 minutes for holding, and to Scotland, number 7. Mason McNeil 2 minutes for holding.
Double holding on the play as Israel grabs the loose ball in their own zone.
You don't see that very often. A double hold would pretty much be a hug, would it not?
Ethan Dicturl threw that pass away for a second. Now Benjamin Reedy actually kicks it up to Tompkins. Didn't pick it up cleanly though, and here goes Fuster. Cameron Fuster, we've seen him be dangerous in this tournament. Hands it off though, and they'll let the offensive experts go to work.
Nice decision there by Fuster to bail out and get it to the O.
Zane Fletcher circles up top. Back for Fletcher, short side. Ripberger got a piece of it. Fletcher's got 2 in the game. 1 came short-handed. The restraining line kicks it out for Grady Holmes. Grady Holmes quiet in this one so far. Zips it over to Eastwood. He'll go low to low, and Ripberger read that one. Eastwood got it right back though the other way. It's a chance, and Mark Ripberger up to task again.
Pushing the back called on Eastwood as he shoved the Israel defender into the crease.
Little frustration after not scoring on back-to-back opportunities. He's used to scoring. He's got
really
18 in the tournament. Here's Josh Fodchuk. Fodchuk now drives and scores. Stings the low corner. Josh Fodchuk has 2 in the game, and it's 8-4.
On the run, Fodchuk finds his spot. He has been so quick and darty around this tournament. And this one is just blasting it around the defender and ripping it just off the hip so he's able to get it to the near post. There was not really a wide lane for him to shoot in. He found it perfectly.
Well, and I think Eric LeBlanc thought that Angus Murdoch had short side covered, and Fodchuk, he's just got that hook on his shot where he's able to pull it anywhere from different angles. Here's Grady Holmes. Scotland down by 4. Holmes knocked back by Reach. Eastwood's up top, and if their offense wants to come back in this game, I think they're going to have to spread the love a little bit. Grady Holmes stopped by Ripberger. Rebound, Cochran's in the corner. For McAndrew. Zach Milne will set the pick. Eastwood wanted to pass it. No one got open. Now Eastwood ends up behind the net. Reaches on up, gave him a good axe chop. Eastwood still has it now to the middle, spinning backhand, goes wide, pops out for Holmes, winds and fires and scores. Grady Holmes has his first of the game. Scotland back down by 3.
Holmes with 8 coming into the game, and he has been stepping up as the tournament has gone along. You can see the Scotland fans are pretty fired up, at least some of them, for that. He does not waste any time as the defenders having a spot where the ball is. It comes straight out to him and kicks off the side of Ripberger.
Do we call it an assist for Eastwood? I mean, it was a wild backhand. But he sets up the play because he doesn't quit on it.
Yeah,
he
I think
took
so.
a couple huge hacks on the play. There was a delayed call coming, and Eastwood is not one to back down in full tent.
Very gritty.
Baker on the run. Solar Camille for Hawkins Steen. LeBlanc not tasked to make a save. Steen inside. Burns all alone scores. Israel responds again. It's 9-5.
Burns finds the soft spot between Murdoch and Mooney. You can see as he takes this really nice pass, gets in behind Mooney, and Murdoch unable to come for the help in time. Really not on him, as he's got to be covering that pass, but just great body position by Burns, and he has been scoring a ton of goals from in very close to the crease.
If you're Thomas Moffat and company, you want to see Connor Mooney ramp up the intensity and play a lot more physical on the D zone. You cannot let Easton Burns have those freebies. Burns now 3 in the game. Penalty coming to Scotland. Fodchuk for Steen. Back to Fodchuk. It was at his knees and he knocked it down. Now Fodchuk over to Tompkins. Had that lane. He threaded the needle too. Tompkins shot on goal. Save made by LeBlanc. They scored on the rebound.
They're saying crease? I didn't think anybody was close to the crease. I think that's a good goal, but they're not going to count it.
Well, it was blown down before. Well, the shot was off before the shot clock buzzer.
Yeah.
See, it comes out there. Maybe
that's a rebound.
I think I say Solar Camille cut through the crease earlier and just didn't, establish himself.
There's nobody.
It's tough to see from that angle, but nonetheless, it's not going to count. Israel going back to the power play, though.
There's a discussion going on up at center among the officials.
I think Stu Sturparn saying, you better hope that one doesn't come back to haunt us, because a 4-goal lead, far from safe in Lacrosse.
It's a major on the slash.
Thomas Moffat not pleased with that, but Alfie West is going to be serving a full 5 minutes here. Israel the chance to score 2. Fodchuk. Little floater for Steen. Tompkins, Steen takes it. Looked like it hit something in front. Clearly wasn't LeBlanc though, or they would have got a reset. Little hidden ball trick. Steen for Burns. Now Steen got stripped. Baker has it, and he's taken down hard by Angus Murdoch. Little high there too. I don't imagine we'll see a major for it, but they are discussing.
I mean, you could if you wanted to, but less. I mean, we'll see. It's 2.
So it'll be a full 2-minute 5-on-3 for Israel. Corbin Wiley guards the logo. 4-on-3 down low. Fodchuk, bouncer. Save made by LeBlanc. Burns, his pass got knocked down by Trader McCulloch. Now Fuster avoided the crease, but he threw it away. Fodchuk back. Tompkins, quick stick, scores. Quick work, 22 seconds into the 5-on-3. It's 10-5 Israel.
A nice ball movement by Israel. You can see that quick pass, the no look by Fodchuk. Scotland just losing their player. Now, the Murdoch is released because there wasn't a goal yet on the major. That goal goes against the minor and releases him. They stay on the major for 4:09. They can still score 2 more. Had the goal that we thought should have counted, that would have been 1 on the major, and then it would have kept going on the major. So this would be the second, or if you already had a goal on the major. But they stay 5-on-4 for another 4:09.
Fodchuk, the beautiful assist on that Barry. It's 10-5 now for Israel after, again, Scotland was up 2-0 in this game, looking like they were the team with the extra jump in their step tonight. Israel's found a way to respond in a big way. Fodchuk again for Hawkins Steen. Back to Fonchuk. It's a little low. He's got to pick it up off the boards. Around Fuster to the net. Short side. LeBlanc makes the save. Burns. Steen. Tompkins. Eric Tompkins has Burns up top. Threw a pass at him. Couldn't catch it cleanly, though, and Hawkins Steen's got to come back to settle it down. 15 on the shot clock. Over to Fonchuk. Quick stick. Just hooked it wide. Ball run up the floor by Matt McCarron. And now Jack Bamford's out there on the penalty kill. Bamford runs into Cutler. Bordominski's out there as well, battling with Bamford, and it's two big boys going at it for a Lucy. On the ground, they'll call the push on Israel, and Jack Bamford earns himself a fresh 30 seconds.
Still almost 3 minutes on the power play.
But now Bamford kind of just sat against the boards there and allowed himself to get pinned up by Justice Cutler. Little spin move to the middle. The big man tumbles, and now Grady Holmes is going to take one behind the play. Oh, never mind. They're going to be giving it to Justice Cutler. I thought he had his stick slashed out of his hands. Maybe I had that one backwards, obviously. So it'll be evened up, and we'll play 4-on-4 for 2 minutes.
We'll have to see more closely what happens on the replay here. You can see the ball gets loose. Play is blown down.
Okay, yeah, there's the slash on Bamford.
Yeah, and Cutler, I think it might be for hitting his stick on the ground after play had been blown to go back up the other way. So it's not necessary, and that's going to eat up all but 35 seconds of the major.
Fletcher, Seal, Eastwood shot. Got his own rebound back. 5-hole attempt. Rittenberger says no. Bundy up the floor. It's a 2-on-2. Bundy now to the net. 5-hole, and LeBlanc doesn't bite.
Bundy loves to run. May on occasion force it, but good job of getting a lane to shoot.
I don't mind that 5-hole attempt on LeBlanc. Again, he's came in for the quarter cold.
And you're 4-on-4. It's not like you're trying to kill a penalty here.
Here he goes again. Bundy to the middle. Now he's got to turn back. And he's got help in the form of Rogalski up top.
Great awareness of how many people were around him and where he could get some help.
It's the communication that Stu Sturparn preaches. You can see it on the floor. When Israel's playing their best lacrosse, they're a very loud team to watch. Zach Milne from his D zone. Milne now partial break, feeds it across. Inside, they score. It's Caleb McAndrew to take the pass on the 2-on-1. Puts it top shelf, and Scotland has 6.
McAndrew was very cautious, along with their door opener, to not come off early. I was thinking it might actually take him out of the play. It probably worked a bit to his benefit because he was still a bit behind the defender and left that lane open. A nice job by Zach Milne to use the angle, pushing down to drag the defender down so he was able to do the rugby-style pass back, which we've seen from the Aussies on occasion in some odd circumstances, but this one worked brilliantly.
Justin Haverly up the floor, left it on the ground for a second, and the battle's going to get one for Scotland. It's the 2 5s as Curry had it. Haverly was on him, and now it's grabbed by Mooney. Mooney waits for a little bit of help. Hawkins-Steen back on defense. Grady Holmes is up top. A Scotland run now before the end of half would feel big. Kick save on McAndrew, ends up out of play. Fresh 30 clock for Scotland. Still 4-on-4 for 10 more seconds. Eastwood trying to drive on Steen. He got pushed back. They'll feed across and they score again. Caleb McAndrew, but they'll say he stepped in the crease.
He disagrees vehemently, and he's looking up top. We'll see how he will feel about it after this.
Well, Trainer McCulloch goes and picks off a pass the other way. He'll stand up on the logo, and Grady Holmes now. Hard pick got set by Bamford. Little floater on goal. Rittberger makes a save, and Israel still in the power play for 20 seconds.
We're going to take a look at that non-goal at the crease call as Bamford takes that penalty. Oh, that's pretty close because he's good when he shoots it. It hits. Oh, I think it's good.
Well, I'd usually say tie goes to the runner and count it. We want to see more goals, but Jack Bamford's going off.
Checking in the crease, goalie interference technically, slashing in the crease. You just can't check when the player's got the ball in the crease, so it's a 5-on-3.
Another power play opportunity for Israel. 4 for 5 in the game so far on a 5-on-3 for the next 6 seconds. Baker, Vodchuk. Vodchuk short side. LeBlanc knew where he wanted to go. Ball's on the ground, and I believe Burns is going to get one. He hauled down Trainer McCulloch.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a holding call. Could be interference, but that will eliminate the rest of the power play points. A parade to the penalty box, and Burns grabs onto the leg. He gets pushed down. He feels like he got cross-checked in the back while he's on the floor, so he just did a bit of a wrestling move, a little leg lock to drag the player down, and he's the one who gets called there.
Well, a power play would have felt nice for Stu Sturparn's squad, and now it's 4-on-4, and Scotland looking to chip away at this 4-goal deficit. Grady Holmes pushed back by Corbin Wiley. Now Dick Turrell steps up on him. Zach Mill on the little pinch inside. Couldn't get a shot off, and he throws it away. Justice Cutler's the other way. Corbin Wiley's up the floor. He'll try and throw a pass at him. A little hot to handle. Dick Turrell had it, but he was going to be shooting from an awkward angle, so wisely doesn't force it. Corbin Wiley's in the corner. Justice Cutler hits him with a pass. They'll keep the 2 D guys on to play offense here, you'd assume. As Hawkins-Steen defended by Nolan Eastwood. Kicked out by the Scotland netminder. Now Mooney's going to get called on a push on Tompkins. Tompkins has Jackson Baker up top. Kind of hooked that pass, and Hawkins-Steen has it right in the slot. Big stop by LeBlanc to keep it a 4-goal game. Cameron Fuster waiting for a little bit of help here. We're still 4-on-4 for the next 17 seconds. Eastwood, a little bit of a late shot clock reset for Scotland, so I'm sure the refs will be counting it down.
I don't see anyone with the count on it, but you could see Fuster really looking, waiting to pick that up and hoping someone was coming from the bench by the time he got it.
Inside look, Zach Mill denied by Rittberger. Caleb McAndrew wins the loose ball battle. Eastwood. Scotland has a brief power play right now. About 10 seconds on the man advantage. Rogalski picked off the pass, and that'll do it for the brief power play. Back the other way. Hawkins-Steen's off the bench. Rogalski, Steen, it's just over the net as he tried a little crease hop. We won't call it a full dive.
Great chance for Israel. Nice play by Rogalski, who's gotten better and better as this tournament's gone on.
Israel's got 3 this quarter, but they've been relatively quiet as of late. Grady Holmes has Cutler on his hands. Zane Fletcher now. Fletcher kicks it out. Eastwood for the hat trick. Trying to go far side high. Misses. Now McAndrew, low bouncer, won't go. Eastwood on the rebound, and the shots just keep missing.
It was a very high-scoring first quarter with 11 goals in it. Only 5 so far in the second. But remember, there were 6 in the last 2.5 minutes of that first. So there's still time.
Both these teams scoring in bunches. We've seen it all week. Tompkins wants to find Vodchuk. Hit him with the pass, and it kind of got him off the logo. Not exactly an ideal place to catch it. And then Vodchuk, well, Baker picked it off. Jackson Baker up to Vodchuk. Now he's got a break. Josh Vodchuk, hat trick. Number 3 on the night for number 18, and it's 11-6 Israel.
Really nice pickoff defensively. And then what an adjustment by Vodchuk. You can see the ball snagged there by Baker, and that's a low pass, and Vodchuk coming in at a run, catches the ball, and gets himself squared up so he has that open look and balance as he takes the shot, and that makes it almost impossible for Dalkeith to stop him.
Vodchuk's got his third of the evening, and back the other way, Grady Holmes had a lane, passes over his helmet though. Now he throws it to Fuster inside, scores. Cameron Fuster finds the back of the net, his first of the game, fourth of the tournament, and it's back to a 4-goal lead.
There you go. It's the 2.5 minutes in the quarter going for these two teams as they just start lighting it up late. We can expect a bunch more.
Ryan Flaherty, what do you got for us between the benches?
Well, just going to say that goal by Cam Fuster, an illustration of what Scotland is going to need if they're going to hope to have a chance in this game. Israel really determined to try to keep Roland Eastwood damage to a minimum, and they're going to need guys like Fuster to step up. Yeah, Israel did a great job on Riley Colsley in their second game, limiting him to just 2 goals after he scored 9 on them. They're hoping for a similar effort against Eastwood. Of course, easier said than done against a player of that caliber.
Jackson Baker rips one off the crossbar, and it ends up out of play. Hockenstein. Push back. Whips it over to Burns. Back intended for Burns. Got it off the grass as Alfie West. I thought he had the loose ball for a second. I think he thought he did too. He kind of stopped defending. Here goes Mooney on his horse. Over the restraining line, waits for help. Eastwood's near side. Mooney cuts down low. Got around Rogalski to the net on the backhand. That goes off the backside of Rogalski. Israel ball. Less than 50 seconds to go here in the half. Justice Cutler. Shot goes wide. Fuster got his stick in the way. Hockenstein holds. Rogalski is the late trailer.
Not sure if Israel was thinking 2 for 1 there for a bit.
I think they were. It's Hockenstein by himself. Well, if by 2 for 1 they wanted 2 in the last minute of the quarter, it looks like it's happening as Hockenstein finds the back of the net. Israel's got a dozen.
Yeah, we could hear the bench calling for a shot. They're going to get it not when they were expecting, but that's a lovely little cut by Steen.
I don't think you'll hear Stu Sturparn complain about that one.
He'll be okay, especially now if Haverly can get the ball back off the draw as he does here.
Haverly's been impressive off the dot as well. Reach is up top. Shot clock's turned off here. They don't need to force anything. I think Ripberger thought about going to the bench as well. Coaches aren't going to call him. Ben Reedy. Ripberger staying between the pipes. Baker down for Burns. Quick stick, and LeBlanc got it with the right arm. Didn't overcommit on that quick stick, and he kept his positioning. Flipped out for Baker. It ends up on the ground, and Reich and Fuster. I believe we're getting a cross-checking call at the end of this one. We'll sort it out after halftime. 12-7, Israel leads Scotland. Couple of big performances, couple of hat tricks. Easton Burns, Josh Vodchuk leading the way. We're back with halftime analysis from Ryan Flaherty after the break.
Welcome back inside SaskTel Center. Halftime of the bronze medal game has Israel leading Scotland at 12-7. The teams combined for 24 goals in their first meeting, well, 19 already here in a high-octane first half in Saskatoon. And we are obviously gearing up for a big gold medal game later this evening between Canada and USA. And who knows who might star in that game and who you might hear from a few years from now. In the professional ranks, this tournament has seen a lot of pretty big names come through the door. Of course, they maybe weren't household names back then, but a lot more people are familiar with some of these players nowadays for their exploits at the professional level. We go all the way back to 2015 when all kinds of big name players now were in this tournament, especially on the Canadian teams and also on the Iroquois sides. To start off with a guy who just about broke the NLL scoring record this past season. Jeff Teat played for Canada back in 2015 when this event was still known as the Under-19 World Lacrosse Challenge. Of course, Teat now has played a couple years in the NLL, and he is lighting it up for the New York Riptide. Well, at the other end of the floor, determined to stop players like Jeff Teat, goaltender Christian Del Bianco, starring now for the Calgary Roughnecks. Back in 2015, he was a stalwart in goal for Canada West, a team that throughout that tournament never gave up more than 4 goals in a game, thanks in large part to the efforts of one CDB. The list goes on. Austin Stotts represented Iroquois West at this tournament in 2015. Doug Jamieson has made 2 appearances as well, another solid goaltender in the NLL nowadays with the Albany Firewolves, and the list continues to grow. In more recent years, some players that we've seen wear jerseys for the Saskatchewan Rush, including Lane Rushka, who was originally drafted by the Georgia Swarm, the highest ever drafted player from Saskatchewan when he was selected by the Swarm, now a member of the Saskatchewan Rush. He played in Canadian colors on 3 different occasions at this event. Patrick Dodds, who was is now a member of the Rush, initially started out with Panther City Lacrosse Club. He's worn Canadian colors at this event before, and it's not just Canadians and Iroquois, although they have dominated those alumni headlines. How about Mitch Ogilvie, the nephew of Andy Ogilvie, who was an assistant with the USA team this year? He played representing Australia a few years back and now plying his trade with the Rochester Nighthawks in the NLL. There are many more names, and I could probably stand here for 10 or 15 minutes just rattling off alumni from this event that have gone on to the bright lights of the NLL. But it just goes to show you don't know who you might be watching today that could be starring in the pro ranks tomorrow. So for the fans that are here, get those autographs and keep those mementos. You never know when you might have a collector's item in your collection. Halftime here inside SaskTel Center as Israel leads this bronze medal game over Scotland 12-7, looking to claim their very first medal at the 2023 World Junior Lacrosse Championship. We'll be back with first half highlights and a look back at the 5th place game coming up after the break as halftime continues here in Saskatoon.
Signature Lacrosse is the official ball provider of the 2023 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. Visit signaturelacrosse.com. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you at the half. Scotland taking on Israel. Israel's up 12-7 after 30 minutes of play. We talked in the pregame show, the offenses, they were going to explode. They did not disappoint. 19 goals in that opening half and a lot of highlight reel plays too.
Ton of great plays. When we take a look at the highlights, you're going to see how lovely some of these plays are. Nolan Eastwood, of course, has been dynamite throughout for Scotland, and another beautiful finish here. But then Israel will get going. Scotland has now scored 4 5-goal runs and allowed 4 5-goal runs in their tournament. That's a lot in 5 games. Here's Holmes fighting through and passing it across to a wide open Fletcher, and the outlet pass here is going to lead to a perfect transition, and the finish by Fodchuk, who is really starting to fire up. Here's one coming down, just finds a little hole. Fodchuk with another one, and Israel, they're really starting to feel their game. Ball bounces out here, and just a little 5-hole squeaker. Tompkins likes it so much, he's going to do that a couple of times, actually. Fodchuk, the no-look pass on the back door. And there is Tompkins having his game of the tournament. And what a matchup it has been. The first game between these two teams was great. This one is living up to the billing.
Absolutely. And earlier today we had Poland taking on Australia in a game that was a little bit more defensive, but also special for its own reasoning.
Australia really wanted to turn things around, and they came out hard, but Poland with Elliott gets rolling. And Elliott had a huge game. You can see him just bouncing shots in all over the floor for Poland. But Australia gets things rolling. And this is Green cutting down, making the nice pass across. And Hebig, who's been a leading scorer for this club, adds one in there. Australia gets ahead and plays like they know what to do when they are ahead, thanks to plays like this from Hebig, as the Aussies, they came in wanting desperately to get 5th place in this tournament. It really meant something to them. Sometimes they just creep across. Sometimes, like that Hebig shot, they blast into the back of the mesh. And this is Ollie Kernigan, who fired up late in the game. There was one. Here's another one that's even prettier, and he enjoys the congratulations of his teammates and the adulation of the world of lacrosse as he makes those plays right there.
Well, Ollie Kernigan, your player of the game in that one. Here, Israel's up by 5. They're starting on the power play. We're back with third quarter action next from the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Uncommon Fit is the official uniform provider of the IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. Visit uncommonfit.com for official championship uniforms and apparel. Inside SaskTel Center, it's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you. Israel up 12-7 on Scotland in the bronze medal game. There you get a look at Mark Rittberger. Faced 24 shots and allowed 7 goals in the opening half of play. Israel starting this quarter off on the power play, though, after a penalty to Alfie West at the end of half.
Israel would love to get something going here quickly out of the second half, because we know what Scotland can do if they start to get on fire.
Baker for Steen. Back to Burns in the corner. Lethal Israel power play. Fodchuk short side. Good stop by LeBlanc to get his toes wet in quarter number 3. Didn't start the game. Ethan Dalkeith did. LeBlanc came in cold, and he's giving Scotland a puncher's chance.
And Scotland having to clear the zone there and throwing it into heavy coverage, it was always going to go to Israel.
Steen zips one over. Burns short side. LeBlanc might have got a piece out with his left hand. Shot clock got reset. Fodchuk tried to drag it through Fuster, and that's too good of a D-man to be doing that with. Up the floor for Eastwood. Eastwood knows he has zero support. He might have to do it himself here. Avoids the crease behind the net. Rogalski and Cutler will defend. Zane Fletcher got tripped up. Eastwood on the roll. Good save by Mark Rittberger, though. Dropped down and got his right elbow in the way. Now Eastwood, I think he might be getting a penalty on this play. Back the other way, though. It's Tompkins. Feed over to Baker. Got picked off by Trader McCulloch, and he's going to go for, well, I was a little confused where he was going for a run, and he had Eastwood up the floor if they weren't going to blow this one down. But a few second delay, and it will be Eastwood going to the sin bin.
Bit of an extended debate as they walk over towards the box. Eastwood explaining why it really wasn't holding. You can see there, though, he kind of grabs him as he's falling to avoid going to the turf.
5-on-3 now for 30 seconds for Scotland. Easton Burns will guard the logo. Baker, Fodchuk, Tompkins, crease side, quick stick, won't go. Tompkins has 2 in the game, 3 in the game already.
And he came in with 1.
In the tournament.
In the tournament.
Baker's up top. 1 penalty expires, so Alfie West is out of the sin bin. Baker, step down, that caught some pipe. Pass intended for Fodchuk by Steen, got knocked down by West. Curry now has Steen all over him. 1 second to move it, and it'll be a 10 count on Scotland.
Great forecheck pressure. And in another minute or so, you're going to hear Rittberger banging his pads on the broadcast. I'm sure you're picking that up. He is a loud pad banger when a penalty for the other team is about to end.
A loud pad banger. That's a new one, Stamper. I might have to throw that in my vocab. Baker, Steen up top. Murdoch got a piece of it with his shoulder. Steen, Baker, inside, scores. Jackson Baker on the quick stick. His second power play goal of the game. Israel has 13.
The 3 Israel forwards wind up in a straight line configuration here, and the pass may have been heading to the back door to Burns, but is snagged by Baker. That's basically just toss it up, and whoever feels they've got a good shot, Baker takes it, and what a beautiful finish.
You're exactly right, because that caught LeBlanc taking an extra step to his left, and that's why that 5-hole opens up, is because LeBlanc was thinking that was going 1 player over.
Absolutely.
Good catch there, and for a goaltender, that's, if you don't have your foot positioning down, you've got nothing. Grady Holmes will lob it up. Caleb McAndrew finds Kean Cochran. Zane Fletcher, little spin move, crease dive, scores. Roll the highlight reel. Zane Fletcher has the hat trick.
That is a beauty. He's got some really nice goals in this game. The drop step is Ashton Reich has been playing very well for Israel, but you can see as soon as he established contact, Fletcher was ready to spin. Well, he's ready before he knows what he's going to do. Drop step, spin, and he is wide open on the dive.
Zane Fletcher, 8 goals now in the tournament. Justin Haverly, another face-off win. He'll leave it up top for Eric Tompkins. Back to 5-on-5. Israel just getting their 5th forward on the floor. Benjamin Reedy over to Josh Fodchuk. Room to shoot. He's dangerous from there, and he tries to pull it short side. Back to Benjamin Reedy. 5 on the shot clock. Tompkins, short side. LeBlanc makes the save. Ryan Flaherty's between the benches for us.
Yeah, guys, don't know if you noticed that, but after that goal for Fletcher, the little Superman celebration, and in case anyone didn't see that, as he was on his way to the bench, a little Superman, he said to himself.
Love it. Zane Fletcher, the flag bearer for Scotland at this tournament. Nolan Eastwood right around Rogalski to the middle. He wanted to get a low-to-low off, didn't have room. Out to Fletcher. The kickback ends up behind the net, and Rittberger is going to jump on it as I believe that's Grady Holmes. Got all sorts of tied up with Justice Cutler.
Lots of pressure here from Eastwood. And even though he didn't get a shot out of that last play, what a lovely dipsy doodle through all the defenders to try and create it, then the smarts to pull it out when it wasn't there.
And we've talked about Eastwood being a two-way player. Like, he is the least afraid forward out here to play defense. He will get back and play D in a heartbeat. I know he does it in junior as well. He's really one of those Swiss Army knives that Darren Beret can use out both gates. This tournament, he's elevated his transition game to a whole new level.
We see that happen at this tournament where players get to take on a role with a nation, and it can really blossom some guys.
Eric Tompkins breaking ankles, and LeBlanc says no.
That was close for 4-4 for Tompkins.
Murdoch for Eastwood. Little bounce pass hit him in the stick, and he couldn't corral the pass cleanly. Now Zane Fletcher up top. Murdoch has to grab the loose ball. He's pushed into the boards. Ball's actually on the ground there. Just a melee of bodies thrown out. Portobinski can't handle it either. Eastwood tried to cut underneath. Tossed him to the ground. And Rogalski's going to have a few words for Eastwood there.
That's a nice try. I mean, you're going to give up the ball anyway if you don't try it, but there's no way he's getting away with that little shove.
Now in front of the net, Mooney's got to be careful as he clocked Fodchuk in the back. Tompkins played 5:30 in this quarter number 3. Hawkins Steed trying to zip one down. Fodchuk is in the corner. Alex Hall now pushes him into the boards, but he never had possession, so it'll be a reset for Israel.
And with that little tete-a-tete between Hall and Ari Solar Camille, you could hear the Israeli coaches yelling, "Run away, Ari, run away. Don't engage."
That is a big boy you do not want to mess with. Solar Camille on net, and he scores. Happy's an understatement. Ariel Solar Camille stings the top quarter. It's 14-8.
Solar Camille has definitely been a depth player for Israel at this tournament, but he is stepping up like a superstar on that one. And Hall is the guy he was tangling with before. The late check after the goal, just after the shot, and he will let him know about it, that I just burned you.
It's a nice shot from the outside there, too. I think he caught LeBlanc off guard. Hasn't seen number 0 in blue shoot all game, and then he goes and zips one past his ear.
Yep.
That's tough as a goaltender. If you don't have a read on someone, because everyone shoots the ball so different, and I think that's what makes goaltending in lacrosse so difficult. And for LeBlanc, I think he'd tell you the exact same off that play. Benjamin Reedy now back the other way. He's drilled to the ground, as I believe that was Mill got a hold of him. Ball ends up behind the net. Trainer McCulloch is there for another loose ball. Zipped a bit of a high pass. Justice Cutler's going to knock Mason McNeil for the over and back. That's a play where the older you get, the more you can realize or be aware of where you're at on the floor, and you have zero leeway when you're on that middle line. You got to move north.
You just can't be a step over the line. You got to be on your own side or get some space.
Josh Fodchuk again. Doesn't on the shot clock. This goes off the back of his own teammate, net of play.
That was a loud one off of Solar Camille, but he says, no problem, take that shot.
That's a good thing. It hit him in padding.
Yeah.
If it's a quiet one, then it's not as nice as
Then it's a flesh
Eastwood
wound.
to the net. Rittberger dropping over to his left. Bundy on the logo. Rogalski and Eastwood continue having words as they go off. The intensity's certainly ramping up. Hawkinstein cut inside, tucks it wide. Jackson Baker, little crease dive. LeBlanc stops him. Now a slashing call's coming up. LeBlanc goes to the bench. Fuster has to be careful with that free arm as well, as it'll be slowed down by Caleb McAndrew. Zach Mill. McAndrew, 10 on the shot clock. Jack Bamford down for Zane Fletcher. Shot around a defender, and this one's going to bounce all the way back into Scotland territory. Whistle blows, and Scotland's going to the power play.
Important for Scotland because they have fallen behind here, and you can see the big chop right there. Fuster asking for it, gets it, You gotta give the refs a second or so to make the call.
So that knocked off the side buckle on his helmet. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's supposed to directly go change, or can he play the ball
he
and
can
then
play
go?
with the buckle. Yeah, he can continue to play with the buckle.
Good to know. That's why we got Steven Stamp here. Little crease dive attempt as Caleb McAndrew goes flying in, and he's going to get dinged for a goalie interference here, I believe. You can't take the lane where you hit the goaltender. There is zero exception for that.
13 seconds into the power play, McAndrew goes in and just slides into the goaltender, Rip Berger.
Ryan, you got something for us?
Scotland penalty to number 19, Callum McGinn. 2 minutes for goaltender interference.
4-on-4.
I think I'm here with you now. Scotland they've been really disciplined here earlier in this tournament, but today it's getting away from them a little bit. So clearly down by 6, the frustration up a little bit, and they need to get a lid on the penalty situation here.
Josh Fonchuk behind the back. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Someone call up SportsCenter. Josh Fonchuk's got 4.
Wow. Fodchuk, a thing of beauty. Does not telegraph this behind the back. He just flows into it. That is Miles Thompson-esque from the other side of the floor. Top cheddar.
Israel's 15th goal scored by number 18.
Well, I know no one at home's going to believe me, but I was the one who told Fodchuk yesterday he's got a sock trick in him today. So he's got 4 already in the game. Steven Stamp can confirm. I just showed him the receipts.
I can attest to it.
4 already for Fodchuk. None prettier than that, though. Just to be able to pick it up and in one motion shoot a BTB, that's impressive. Baker now zips this one off Mooney. Back to Alfie West, and he's got a swim move around Steen. Fletcher's up the floor. If they want to go quick, they could have had a 2-on-2 there. As there's 4 and 4 on the floor. It's a lot of space. Mill up top for Grady Holmes. Trying to bully his way to the middle. He's pushed back. Good defense there as Israel not giving him anything for free. Holmes down to Mill. Little fadeaway goes wide. 1 left on the shot clock, and Eastwood's going to have to leave it on the carpet.
And you love the fight from Holmes, using the size, battling through, but at times you can maybe get a little too focused on just trying to do it yourself as he was trying to bull his way through. Maybe somebody's coming open there.
Eric Tompkins. His defender on an island if you wanted to go one-on-one at him. If you're Angus Murdoch, you probably don't want to get caught flat-footed. Here's Fodchuk. Shot just goes off the shoulder of LeBlanc, and Jackson Baker's going to have to get on the back check. Scotland the other way. They've got speed as well. That's the one thing we've seen in this tournament where they've played a ton of lacrosse, and against Canada they kind of ran out of gas, but Israel and Scotland put on a show again for us. Here's Bamford, the big man, backing his way into a double team. Scotland shorthanded for a couple more seconds as they'll just dump this one down with a few on the shot clock.
And Israel with a 7-goal lead. It's funny because they've really taken advantage of their opportunities. It doesn't feel like a 7-goal spread game, just from the general aura.
Well, 5 of them are on the power play.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about
Huge.
special teams being the difference maker. Fodchuk out in front. It's low. It's in the feet of LeBlanc. Behind him, actually. And that's where Morgan Curry's going to grab it. Fodchuk was that close to 5 as he has some words with Alex Hall as they head off.
A great steal by Dick Turrell, running back in transition defense.
Little bouncer for Baker, and Jackson Baker, I think he said a 4-letter word we can't repeat after missing that one. Trainer McCulloch's been good again.
Yes.
Like, it's just the staple of consistency on this Scotland back end. Little flip for Grady Holmes, trying to cut back to the middle. Dick Turrell pushed him out. Grady Holmes now, big hit, got laid by Bundy. Put his shoulder down, and then Holmes got tossed down by Dick Turrell. They're going to blow it down as Eastwood had the ball, so 2 penalties. So is that an automatic blowdown just in international? I don't remember that in summer ball as much, as they'll let them play with 2 penalties.
It's supposed to in a lot of rule books change, and
I trust your judgment here,
but
Stamper.
for sure, I was surprised the other day when we had 2 penalties on the same team that it wasn't blown down. But you could see immediately when the second hand went up, they did blow it down. And the first one was the delayed, and then the second, and the first one was just a big hit with the crunch, the 2 players coming together. The second was a fairly undisciplined one. And that's the one that hurts.
So they're not going to call Bundy for the hit, though. They'll say the hit was clean, which we thought it was clean, but Ethan Dick-Turrell is going to take 2 for cross-checking, or 2 penalties for cross-checking, pardon me, so 4 minutes in total. Chance for Scotland to claw their way back. Plenty of time still. Fletcher, shot got blocked by Rogalski. Got the rebound back. Eastwood looks to Bamford. Bamford steps down and scores. Jack Bamford, top of the power play. Stop me if you heard it before. Scotland's got 9.
He loves that, just stepping in. All kinds of power behind the shot. He will open this up for him. And Israel knew that was coming. The scissor pick to open up the space for him. You still have to do something about it, though. I'm curious quickly, would you rather have the 2-minute 5-on-3 or the 4-minute 5-on-4?
4-minute 5-on-4.
Okay.
If I know my power plays at 50% like Scotland, or 50, 60, I guess.
Yeah.
At what, 66% now? I'm trying to do math on the fly. I'll take the 4. Ryan Flaherty's got an update. Matthew Bundy, I believe, is on the bench getting looked at. Quick.
Yeah, it just looks like he got a bit of a cut up near, right in between almost his eyes, just in the brow area there, just getting some, maybe some glue, the old trainer's magic trick there to try to close that up so he can get back out on the floor.
Thank you, Ryan. Zane Fletcher down to the power play. Eastwood's inside, and Ripberger got over well, and that's A-plus positioning for the Israel netminder.
It really is, because he was waiting for that shot to come and wasn't opening anything up as he stepped into that spot.
After, let's call it a shaky start for Ripberger. I don't think he was bad by any means, but definitely not up to his standards. He's locked it in here and not given away anything easy to Scotland. Little flip back in front for Burns, who got blown up by Eastwood. Nolan Eastwood lowers the boom. And now Burns will toss Eastwood to the ground. It's just a friendly cross-check both ways. Are they just going to call it Eastwood?
They got to send both. You have to send both.
I think they're just calling Eastwood.
Oh.
Well, does Eastwood start that one, or does Burns
he starts it, but they both keep
it?
going. I mean, Eastwood, I think, got things going, but Burns knocks him down.
Well, that's right. The play was dead when Burns had knocked him down, right? Like, the play's dead already, and then Eastwood gets up and gives him another shot. And so I guess call it a retaliation. I don't know. Scotland bench isn't happy about it, and, well, I'll just say I don't blame him. Here's Burns. Zips one over to Steen, and it's off the bucket of LeBlanc.
McCulloch very careful to make sure he wasn't outside the crease lane going in as he picked that one up.
Put one on a rope to Zane Fletcher, though. Now it's in transition. McAndrew bouncer. Ends up high. Zach Mill. Ball bounces back to McAndrew. Thought they were going to try say it one off of Cutler. Now it's
yeah, they're definitely saying it went off of Cutler.
Well, see, I thought they were going to say it went off Cutler, but the refs.
Scotland is saying that.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. The refs aren't going to be saying that. And then I think Caleb McAndrew got away with a bit of a line drive swing there as well. But they already got one in the sin bin. Pass intended for Tompkins was deflected, and here goes Fuster. Out for Zach Mill. Mill back to Fuster. Fuster, far side, bounces this one skyward in SaskTel Center. Zach Mill now is going to grab the loose ball, defended by Bundy, who's back on the floor. Little feedback over to Fuster. Mill knew exactly where he wanted to go with that. I believe it was Dick Turrell who got his stick in the way. Scotland now shorthanded for the next 35 seconds.
I love that shift by Fuster. first in the decision to wait because I think he sensed he couldn't outrun Steen. So he makes the pass and then gets into position for the shot and then battles like crazy for the loose ball at the end. Didn't work out, but beautiful play.
10 on the shot clock. Tompkins, Fodchuk. Ball got blocked. Now Fodchuk won't get it back. Hit into the boards by McCarron. Shot clock's going to expire as McCarron's wrapped up with Burns. Now if you're Scotland, you've got Eastwood coming out in 7 seconds. They could have used a timeout or pulled their goalie and gone 6-on-5 real quick. And I think at this time you probably go for the risk versus, you know, playing it conservative. But Trainer McCulloch's going to do it by himself, and he tosses one into the logo. And that's probably why he comes out the D-gate. Yes. Although it was good footwork to get to the middle, but the finish was just not there. Israel up by 6, 45 down, 15 to go. Join us for the third quarter coming up next. Adrenaline Lacrosse is an official supplier of the Canadian Lacrosse League. Visit adrln.ca for more. Ryan Flaherty standing by on the Scotland bench.
Here with assistant coach Johnny Shaw. Your team has shown its capacity to get on some runs here this week, and you're going to need one here in the fourth quarter. What needs to happen to turn it around here in the final 15?
We need to take our opportunities a wee bit better. You know, it's been a difficult game against this team. We just need to shoot the ball a wee bit more, be a wee bit better in transition, and get one of our good goal runs going.
There's a little bit more of an edge to this game than the first time you saw Israel. Do you think your team's handling that well?
Yeah, you know, it's difficult. You know, it's a difficult game. It's heated. You know, we're playing against, you know, two different teams, I think, in this game. But we're just going to have to play a wee bit harder and kind of leave that in the field.
All right, thanks. Good luck in the fourth. Guys.
Maximum Lacrosse is an official sponsor of the 2023 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. Visit o'neilllacrosse.com for all your lacrosse goaltending needs.
Eric Tompkins has shone in this game, entered the game with 1 goal through the tournament, and we are going to see some sensational play from him in this game today, really finding his game. A lovely little individual effort here. Gets a bit of help from the defender to get that one in, but then just the low shot rips it inside the post, and he is feeling it. He's going to take this little backdoor feed and just tuck it home. 3 very different goals, almost had a 4th shortly thereafter.
Well, ready to get quarter number 4 underway. Justin Haverly and Morgan Curry back at the dot, and Haverly pokes it over to Benjamin Reedy. Justin Haverly has it. Inside Burns, hits Steen, and he scores! 14 seconds into quarter number 4. Hawkins Steen has his second.
Burns and Steen combine. That's exactly what Israel was hoping for. Couldn't have been a worse start for Scotland to the quarter. It's just a lovely timing pass. LeBlanc gets a little bit of it, but not enough.
Smiles all around for Steen and Jackson Baker on the Israel bench. And as we said, it's been a physical affair. It's been chippy. There's been a lot of talking. And obviously, the team that's leading that battle is going to be smiling a little bit more.
Yes.
Feedback for Baker. Over to the righty side of the floor. Pass past Fodchuk. And it's some sloppy backyard ball going on for Israel now. Alfie West up the floor. The big man thought about going for a little bit of offense. Now they'll wait for some help. Nolan Eastwood's out there. Rogalski follows West, who throws a dangerous pass over to Jack Bamford. One arm bounces it back. McAndrews on the roll. Rittberger not tasked with a save. Mill floats one on goal, and Rittberger, well, he'll get credited with a save, but that's a little bit of an awkward one.
Just kind of dropped into it like an infielder, trying to make sure he's got the ball surrounded.
Shots are 46-30 in favor of Israel after that third quarter of play, and Easton Burns is back up top. Shot goes wide. Solar Camille popped it up twice, and now Alex Hall's going to go for a run. Alex Hall dishes it off for Mason McNeil. Nolan Eastwood is right side, trying to cut crease inside, and Rittberger makes a save as Eastwood gets drove into the post.
Rittberger applying the Connor McGee approach, diving out onto that. Nice way to smother the ball.
We had the goal in the Australia-Poland game earlier. I'm trying to think of who it was on the fly. Got pushed in and still scored. Back the other way, it's Matt McCarron on a break, and he scores. No mistake, Matt McCarron has his first of the game. Scotland's got 10.
McCarron has his first of the tournament as he runs onto this one. Nice pass, well taken on the back shoulder, and then a little swirly twirl, kind of fake, and pumps it over into the far side. I think Rittberger may have been mesmerized by the stick swinging around in that rather unorthodox fashion.
Well, mesmerizing is a good way to put it. Matt McCarron, that is his second point of the tournament, first goal of the week as well. And it's a big one because Scotland down by 6 with 12 to play, not out of it. We saw Poland come back after being down big against Australia. That's a weird tip drop. Hawkins-Steen doesn't even know what that hit. It finds its way in the back of the net. That's the hat trick for 7 in blue, and Israel responds quickly.
And we'll see on this one, I'm sure. It looks like, yeah, it's the defender right out at the top that gets a bit of it. And no chance for LeBlanc. You can see he is following the shot. He actually opens up his legs. It goes right between. That's tough for the defender when you get a bit of it and it winds up burning you.
Haverly off the drop. We've said it all week. We want to see him go for some more offense. He decides not to give us what we want.
He's got 4 goals this week.
I think he could have more than that if he wanted.
There's time.
But I'm not coaching him. Hawkins-Steen back for Burns. Pass was there, but he couldn't connect. Now it's a wild one arm by Morgan Curry. Could have hit Fuster as Mark Rittberger, one arm, scoops it up with a fishnet. Now Rogalski hammered into the boards by Trader McCulloch. McCulloch will wait for some help. Has to spin around Cutler. Won't be able to get down low. McCulloch looking for any sort of help, and no one is in the open floor where he rolls the ball to. Is kind of waiting for someone to try and get open and ask for it as Eastwood throws this one back. Reich avoids the crease and finds Cutler.
And Milne came racing over to set the pick, but nobody supported them. And McCulloch with a fantastic steal, fantastic protection of the ball and stick, and just nobody coming to his aid.
It's the development of the game for Thomas Moffat's Scotland side. Little inside slip by Steen. Got through the defenders. Zips one down low. Dick Turrell, wide shot. This is gonna, well, it's not over the glass. It stays in, hits the top portion, but the shot clock expires.
So under 11 for Scotland to work their way back in as they trail by a touchdown.
Nolan Eastwood got past Bundy. Little inside cut. Kicks it out for Bamford. The big man. Shot goes off the leg of Portominski. Now here goes Matt Bundy. On his horse, Bundy threw a pass over to Benjamin Reedy, who just was not ready for it. Fuster hits Curry, and Curry forgot the ball before trying to hit on a breakaway. Rogalski the other way. It's a track meet. Fodchuk's inside. And Fodchuk, the lefty, Well, he left it there for Tompkins, and that works out that he didn't catch the pass. Tompkins has another for Israel. Everything they're doing is right tonight, as Eric Tompkins now 4 in the game.
This is kind of the bizarro world version of the earlier goal we saw where Baker picked the pass that could have gone to either him or Burns, as Fodchuk reaches for one on his offside, just gets a tip and sets it up perfectly. And Tompkins the recipient for his 4th, and everything's going Israel's way right now.
You can see Fodchuk smiling on the bench, probably being like, hey, that's my assist, right? I get credit for it.
Why not? I mean, he touched it.
I'm not sure they'll exactly agree with that. Nonetheless, Eric Tompkins is having himself a heck of a game. Good to see him. And again, he's got a great relationship with Stu Sturparn, and the two of them obviously working well together. Eastwood's to the middle, and Ripberger has had Nolan Eastwood's number ever since the 5-minute mark at quarter number 1. Easton Burns. Pass out, intended for Kirsch, as Fuster's going to have a breakaway. Cameron Fuster all alone scores. Number 2 of the game for number 33.
The triple play for Fuster with the, if you give him the cause turnover here, the loose ball, and now breaks away for the solo goal. Very calmly takes a look back, knows exactly how much time he has, knows where he wants to shoot. He's had a tremendous tournament, and that may be the best play he's had in the whole thing.
The old Chris Corbeil special. Get one tick in every box. And now Scotland down by 7 with 9:25 to play. Israel's had a response every time Scotland scored in this game, though, it feels like. Fodchuk. Baker lets it fly. Save is made by LeBlanc. McNeil almost had to come back for it. Solar Camille couldn't get to it in time as Matt McCarron runs to safety. Now McCarron dishes this one up. Bamford got it off the stick, but it ends up in row 4. Cutler's the other way. Corbin Wiley's up the floor, as is Josh Fodchuk. Cutler takes it, though, and LeBlanc makes the save. That time Fodchuk saying, hey, now I wanted the pass.
Yeah.
If you would have dropped it for me.
Coming over to my own side, ready to roll now.
Well, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Didn't happen. Hawkinstein back for Fodchuk. Short side, scores. Put it through a pop can. Josh Fodchuk's got 5 in the game. Israel's got 19.
And he's got 8.5 minutes left to get the sock trick goal and make you look like Nostradamus. And that's love. I mean, LeBlanc comes across and drops down. He's trying to come back up. There's about a ball's width. Fodchuk puts it there perfectly.
Yeah. And LeBlanc got up quick. Like, if it's a quick stick, that's probably where the quick stick's going, is lower hip high.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a goalie coach, you can't even be mad at LeBlanc there. Hey, you did the right thing. He was just a quarter of a second quicker than you at getting up.
He did the right thing at the right time. Just not quite working out.
And for Fodchuk, he was a player who was very honest yesterday and said, that wasn't my best. Here's Jackson Baker dancing inside. Tompkins on the rebound. LeBlanc makes the save as Fodchuk's got a high ceiling, I tell you. Everything I see about that kid play lacrosse. Here's Fuster for the hat trick. Why not, big man? 33, he's got 3 on the night.
Fantastic play again. This time not doing it all on his own, as he's going to have a beautiful outlet pass. Still has to make the catch. Lots of time, and that is probably within a couple inches of where he put the last shot.
He's got breakaways figured out.
Yep.
There's one thing. Cam Fuster has been lights out here in transition. Here's Haverly for reach. Hawkinstein to the middle. LeBlanc makes a save and absorbs the rebound as well. Trainer McCulloch in front of the penalty boxes here. He'll wait for a little bit of help. Feels like every time we talk about the lead, it's always at 7. So that's exactly what Scotland's down. Save made by Rittberger, and Cutler's going to push the pace. Justice Cutler, back door. Tompkins scores. Little hop, step, and a flip. Top shelf. Eric Tompkins has another, and Israel's got a 20 spot.
You can just see confidence build in young players. He is absolutely comfortable taking this pass. Great footwork, stays out of the crease. And even a little bit of a chirp afterwards as Fuster gives him the late, not even much of a late shove, but he's ready to go.
Tompkins has 5 in the game as well. Says, hey, if Vodchuk can do it, I can as well. Grady Holmes puts one right in the chest protector of Rittberger, and he's going to throw a stretch. Back the other way, here's Fuster. Does he have more in him? Little spin inside, one arm on his stick, got it off. Ends up behind the net, though. Up for Reish, it's going to roll past him, and Trainer McCulloch probably has his 15th loose ball of the game.
At least. Of course, that's slowing down. Remember, he was on pace for about 30.
Well, again, this is unofficial stats. He could be there. Zach Milton kicks it out. Eastwood, spin move. Picks it on Rogalski. Eastwood pass across. Shot comes from Mill, and Rittberger drops into a hockey-style butterfly.
Big pick by Fletcher on that one. He is throwing the weight around, trying to get them rolling again.
Here's Easton Burns. Vodchuk's out on the floor. Josh Vodchuk, room to shoot. Backpedal, flips it down to Burns. 5 on the shot clock. Hawkins-Steen's got to climb a ladder. Now he'll let this one go for Martinsville. Ends up wide, and Alex Hall is going to run into Steen. The gate was open, and that was getting dangerous there.
That's a great play by Steen as Hall decided to initiate the contact, put his shoulder in, and Steen just absorbed it and came back. Really enjoy the way he made that.
Off the bench, Tompkins. Sock trick watch. LeBlanc says not yet. McNeil is back the other way. Trying to go high. Almost caught Rittberger dropping. Back the other way, Justice Cutler's going to have a break. The skills competition continues, and Cutler jump shot too high. Between the benches, Ryan Flaherty is standing by.
Well, yeah, you were just mentioning that play by Steen on the back check, and when he came back to the bench, he got a huge ovation from his teammates. You animal was what I heard.
You animal. Hawkins-Steen having himself one of his better games of the week already. Ball ends up in front. Could it be corralled by McCarron, and Rittberger is just sending the ball down. Every chance he gets, he's saying, hey, the boys want offense, I'll lob one up for you. Eastwood on Reish. Fletcher sets the pick. Eastwood's back. Pass around Dick Turrell on the roll. Rittberger got his shoulder on the shot coming from McCarron, and it's another stretch pass for Rogalski. Jarrett Rogalski pokes this one over LeBlanc. Fuster back and a little bit more wingspan to catch the loose ball. Sloppy play continues, and you can tell these players are at the end of their week. A lot of them, this is their 5th game of the week. 5 games in 6 days. It's almost like a President's Cup schedule.
It is, and it's a little harder to summon the adrenaline and the energy when it's an 8-goal difference than if you had a 1 or 2 goal game.
3:40 to go, quarter number 4. Israel in blue and up big. Tompkins. McCulloch got his stick in the way, so he couldn't get that shot off. Well, we've got the time, and I saw the video pop up on my timeline again of Deacon Knott throwing an absolute dime last year's tournament. He's off to the Minto Cup final this year, and I believe there's another.
Yeah, Deacon Knott, the all-world goalie last year, playing for Canada, winning a gold medal. What a dive goal.
Oh, there we go. Well, sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
Zane Fletcher, that one's worth a little interruption.
100%, I was expecting it. Fletcher, that is gorgeous. We'll get back to the other matter in a moment. Fletcher with his 4th. And you can see how quickly he realizes he's got to go to stay out, and the hard way, going around on the forehand, knows he's got to get well in front and tucks that home. Lovely by Fletcher. What we're saying, Deacon Knott, all-world goalie last year, and Will McLeod, who had a fantastic Worlds for Canada last year as they won the gold medal, also with the Burlington Blaze. They have won the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Championship 4-2 over Orangeville, and they'll be there with you calling their Minto Cup games in about a week.
Looking forward to that. Starts on August 20th. Eric Tompkins. Speaking of players having good games, Jackson Baker on net. Eric LeBlanc makes a save. Looking for an outlet, and again, the game's slowed down to molasses mode as we're down to the final 3 minutes, and it's a 7-goal spread.
Remember, we are about an hour and 14 minutes away from the gold medal tilt between Canada and the U.S.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
What more could you want in Saskatoon? Fletcher on the shot, Ripberger with a save. Cutler now. Tompkins is off the bench. They're trying to hit him for a sock trick. Zach Milne back on defense. The two of them will battle for a loose ball, and it's Milne who comes out of the pile with it. McNeil, a little bouncer up for Milne. 2 to play now. Israel on their way to their first bronze medal ever at the IIJL World Juniors. Eastwood in the corner. Grady Holmes is on Reedy as well. And now Ripberger says, hey, I'll defend my teammate.
You don't mind that one, giving up the possession there. He'll get it back. This is such a great experience for so many of these kids. I know last year we ended up sitting with Will McLeod at a Lumineers concert in Winnipeg, which was fantastic. And they're such a great group of kids. McLeod and a bunch of the players are there. Chris Fox and his group really do a nice job putting together players with character.
Steen hits Burns, who hits the top corner. Israel's got a 21 spot. Easton Burns tacks on another.
Tompkins starts to run the hidden ball trick here, and I think Scotland was like, do whatever you like. It's 20-13. You're going to run a hidden ball? Go ahead, man. And they just allow Burns to run down the middle and tuck that one home.
Yeah, there's nothing Eric LeBlanc can do on that. He stands there. He's like, do you want me to still play the breakaway? Is this just shootout practice now? Grady Holmes. Good back check by Solar Camille. Gave him a little shot in the back after for a good measure.
Connor Chase heading to the bench as he'd lost his helmet, ran into a couple of Scotland players trying to get off the floor.
Scotland had 6 on the floor there as well, too. I think they're kind of just saying, hey, we're done calling penalties now. Yeah. Solar Camille flips it up. Kush with the shot. Save made by LeBlanc. Rebound. He stops Reish. Well, they were going to let the D guys cook for a little bit, and the push is in the back on Reish and Alex Hall. Well, he'll say he didn't know what he did, but...
Yeah. Reish, the captain, doesn't have a point yet, so you'd know that Israel would love to get him a point in this tournament.
That's shocking. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Again, I probably could have looked at my notes and would have saw it there, but that did not jump out to me. He's been so good. He's always so consistent. It's crazy he doesn't have a second assist. Back for Burns. Shot comes from Kush. It's off the crossbar. See, and this just tells me how selfish I am. I'm like, get Tompkins, get Fodchuk out there. We want sock tricks.
Right.
But I understand they're playing for a bronze medal, and they've got it locked up. Kudos to Stu Sturpart and his crew. What a week for them. What a battle. Israel, first ever bronze medal at the IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship.
One quick note, Aston Reese has 2 assists today. So he came into the game with no points, but he got those secondary assists today. Don't want to rob him of that.
That's why you're the research guy and I am not. But credit to Israel. What a tournament. What a performance. And really, It's tough to get up when you're not playing for gold. It's tough to get up after you lose a semifinal game, and you really got to tip your hat to the leaders on this team. Hawkins Steen, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Tompkins, 5 goals, 8 points. Fodchuk, 5 goals. Burns had 4. Baker had 2 and 2. There was so many guys who could have easily packed it in and said, well, I'm not getting gold, my week's done.
Yeah, although, as we talked about, they have never won a medal. And this is huge for Israel Lacrosse. They have a very vertically aligned program between their senior program that goes to the World Lacrosse Box Championships and their junior program here at the IIJL World Juniors. And they are trying to get something growing and really develop the game. And they're pretty stoked about this result.
Final shots on goal, 61-45. Final power play numbers. Scotland goes 2 for 5 on the man advantage with the shorty. Israel goes 5 for 10 on the power play in this game. And that was a difference maker. I know the spread was more than 5, but those 5 power play goals for Israel, that's what allowed them to open up that space in this game.
Yeah, and Scotland obviously having to take some chances as the game goes on with that deficit that they had. A tremendous game. I mean, it wasn't quite the thriller, quite the tight battle that we saw in the first round, but that is a beautiful game for them. And a nice moment is, again, Israel has been hanging the Jackson Porter jersey up on their bench every game, and they bring it out with them to the restraining line for the anthem.
We'll send it down to the floor to WJL President Chris Fox.
Cameron Fuster.
Cameron Fuster, terrific game, had 3, almost had a 4th late in the game, and just playing a terrific tournament, and again, shining his brightest in the final game.
Yeah, Fuster was fantastic.
And for Israel, number 3, Eric Tompkins.
No-brainer.
The kid was legit. 1 goal coming into the game, 5 today. Sensational.
5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points. Yeah, and Stu Sturparn was the one before saying, hey, I believe in him. That's why I'm giving him these opportunities, because he can get to another level. And so for Israel, they'll get to come collect their bronze medals. I thought there was a lot of performances, but kind of getting overshadowed again is Mark Rittberger, who did make good saves in this game. Like there was chances that Scotland had that they just weren't able to capitalize on.
A few at critical times, and a couple, back-to-back saves, and that's a big factor for them. They're very pleased to have him on board, and I think for Israel, as they will get their medals and go and shake hands again with Scotland. Excellent performance by Scotland as well in their first World Juniors.
Definitely a great performance by them, as you see the sign of respect there, led by Ben. Again, you look at the Jackson Porter jersey, and instantly, tough to talk about that one. That's again, that's a huge loss for the lacrosse community this spring. He played for Israel last year at this tournament, and he was a huge part of the Fort Saskatchewan lacrosse community. I know his parents, I got to travel back to Edmonton last year with him and his family, and yeah, it's tough. Gone too soon, but it's nice for Israel to honor him and the legacy he left behind, because he truly was a special kid.
Yeah, great to have his memory here with this team.
Now you see Rittberger and the coaches get their bronze medals as well, as the handshakes will continue for Israel. A special moment again. First time ever picking up a bronze medal at this event. Israel does have a rich lacrosse history, but for them to come here this week and be so competitive, I think from what we saw at the start of the week, there was some question marks raised about their game. And, they battled back. Nothing came easy to them this week.
No, and they worked for it. And obviously, we all miss having the Haudenosaunee here, and that has an impact on the way that things play out. But Israel played the people in front of them and did a fantastic job.
Time for the national anthem of Israel. Israel with their first bronze at the 2023 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. One of the overlooked facts as well is Justin Haverly and Ashton Reese, 16-6 on the draw. I know there's a crew in lacrosse that'll tell you face-offs don't matter. Well, I absolutely disagree with that because Israel was able to respond so many times after Scotland goals. That truly was a difference maker.
And Ashton Reese, remember, flew in, missed the first day of training camp because he came straight in from winning an Israel Premier Lacrosse League championship.
That's impressive, but let's go down to the floor. Ryan Flaherty standing by with Eric Tompkins.
Well, Eric, big game for you today, but bigger than that, I'm sure, for you is the result for your team. First ever medal for Israel at this event. What does that mean to you to be part of that?
Man, I'm just thank you for the guys around me and the coaches to inviting me and all the Albertan boys coming down. And we pushed hard, kept on going. We just kept pushing our game, just kept scoring, kept cheering each other up. If we got down, we get each other up, and it was a great game.
You had a pretty tough one earlier this week against USA where you only scored 3 goals. What did you guys do to turn things around and get back in your headspace here for a big medal game here today?
You know what? We all took some rest. We got massaged up. Got rest up. But you know what? We're happy we're here with third place, and we pushed ourselves really hard. And I'm very happy with the bronze medal, and that's all we could do.
All right. Well, congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you,
guys.
Eric Tompkins, 5 goals in the bronze medal victory. 21-13, the final score. Mark Rittberger makes 32 saves. Hawkins Steen with a 9-point performance. Josh Fodchuk with 5 goals. We're back for Canada USA in just over an hour. For myself, Cody Jansen, Stephen Stamp, Ryan Flaherty, the entire production crew. Thanks for tuning into the bronze medal game, and join us for gold at 8 o'clock local time.